Hey everyone, this is Mike from Real Life Counseling, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic, and that is the epidemic of loneliness that people are feeling in the world. Um, People seem to be more lonely than they've ever been, especially men. They have fewer friends, fewer close relationships. Very often in marriages, it's the woman who, with her friends, makes plans and the men kind of just go along. But women too are suffering from loneliness and even as we have friends in social media, not really friends, but the personal connection is disappearing. And so what are some of the ways that people can really deal with loneliness? Because it is a cause of depression and suicide, isolation. So William Glasser, who I've spoken about before, he was the founder of reality therapy and choice theory. And he said that people have five basic needs. Now, one of these needs is survival, so we need food, and water, and shelter, and clothing. But separating that for a minute, because if you don't have that, you have a lot bigger problems. But then there are four social, emotional, psychological needs, and these are love and belonging, which fits in directly with loneliness. Um, Power or competence, feeling powerful in your own right, not power over people, but feeling almost empowered. A certain degree of freedom and autonomy to live your life the way you want, and fun, having fun. And he includes learning in that because there was a time, especially when we were young, where learning was fun. And then, schools kind of bred it out of us. They made learning not fun, but these are the four areas. And in loneliness, people feel involved when they have these four needs met. Now, the first one, of course, is obvious, right? You have love and belonging. You're in a relationship. You have good, close friends. You have a good relationship with your family. That's really important. And, also having any kind of connection, even with animals and pets. Of course, I will say that as wonderful as pets are, and they are, they're not a substitute for people. We need to have human connections. But having a relationship with your pet, having that kind of love, that unconditional love, is great. Is great. Another thing, though, is feeling as if you have some meaning and purpose in your life. Now, Dr. Glasser used the terms power. I substituted. I think that we need to have meaning and purpose in life, and I'm going to substitute power, or at least interpret power, as doing something meaningful and purposeful uh, in your life. So having something that you feel that gives your life meaning is really important. So one of the things that people feel lonely about is they feel like they don't matter. And so in addition to belonging, having friends and loved ones and family, doing something, being engaged in something that's meaningful is also vital. You know, a lot of people think that having a meaningful life, well, that's it, right? What better, than to have a meaning and purpose in life? But think about this. Think about a doctor. A doctor saves lives, especially an emergency room doctor. What could be a more important job? You literally save lives. What is more important in the world than that? But do you think doctors are never depressed? Right? You could be a doctor, you're working long hours, and you go home to an empty apartment or an empty home. And don't you think they're depressed? So even having a meaningful job, perhaps one of the most meaningful jobs, you can still be sad and depressed and unhappy. So having relationships with people is crucial, even if you have meaning. And I would argue having relationships, even great relationships, and certainly as superficial relationships, without a meaning or purpose might not be great. But I think the two key parts of these four needs that Dr. Glasser mentioned is this belonging, this love and belonging, and this feeling powerful and feeling competent, what I call feeling meaningful, and having a purpose-driven life. But the other two areas are just as important. I know for me, I have a hard time having fun. I like doing what I'm doing. I have fun doing what I'm doing. I enjoy reading about therapy and psychology, but just kind of going out and breaking loose, I certainly could do that a little bit more. I find a lot of activities that are fun to be more solitary, but being with other people and going out and having fun with a group, that's really important. Learning can be fun, right? You stimulate your mind, and especially if it's a topic you enjoy. You know, once you're out of school and you don't have to do something, learning is more fun because you're doing it because you want to. So I think we actually could use a lot more fun, especially those that involve other people. That's really important. And then, of course, the last one is just having a certain amount of freedom. You know, people feel like they're constrained by their obligations. You have work obligations, you have family obligations, and it can sometimes feel as if, you know, even in the most free society, as if maybe you're not very free, and you certainly don't feel autonomous if you have a boss and you have things that you have to do. So being able to develop a certain degree of freedom, autonomy, individual action is really important, where you feel you can make a difference. Now again, you can feel free when you're having fun. That's a certain amount of freedom. When you choose your relationships, you're free to choose who you want to be friends with and who you want to have a romantic relationship with. So all of these four together really have a significant impact on reducing loneliness and the attendant negative feelings of loneliness, which is basically depression and sometimes anxiety, could be stressful. Now, when you combine fulfilling these needs, and everyone has these needs, love and belonging, power and competence, fun and learning, and autonomy and freedom. Everyone has them, but different people have them to different degrees. So some people might need some love and belonging, but not a lot. Other people might need total love and belonging, and maybe power and competence isn't as high. But everybody needs these four to some extent. You have to figure out to what extent they're important to you. And then the harder part is, how do you meet them? What do you do? You know, for love and belonging. Do you have your friends introduce you? Do you join a dating site? Do you sign up on meetup.com and try to join organizations and groups? Are there some Groupons that involve activities that you could join? A sports team. You have to decide how to do that. And that's not easy. But fulfilling these four needs is crucial to figuring out how to stop your loneliness and boredom. And of course, one of the things that you can also do, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what I've talked about before as well, is just the getting rid of the negative self-talk, the beating yourself up, and replacing it with more compassionate and caring and realistic thoughts. We can be our own worst enemies. You know, there are things that we know we need to do, like let's say going out more and meeting people, or going to the gym, and we know we need to do it, but we just don't have the enthusiasm. We don't have the motivation. We're resistant to it, and sometimes we don't understand why. And changing our thoughts about those could go a long way to overcoming them. Well, I won't meet anyone. Well, I'll feel awkward. People won't like me. If you can talk your way out of that, it might make it easier to take the risk and do some of these things. So loneliness is a big problem, but there are ways through reality therapy and choice theory and cognitive behavioral therapy. There are some really great ways and techniques to overcome this really serious issue. So if you like this video, please hit like. If you'd like to subscribe, please become a subscriber. And if you want alerts on when new videos come out, please hit the bell. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.